In this video, let me show you how to set up and deploy the Coolify VPS, which is an open source self-hostable alternative to services like Vercel, Heroku, or Netlify. As you can see on the home page, it allows you to deploy a publication database and hundreds of other services right on your own server. But if you look at the pricing, you have two options. Either you can use the managed cloud service, which is $5 per month, or you can use the self-hosted free forever option. This gives you the full control and no artificial limit. But the disadvantage of using the managed cloud service is that which is $5 per month and you can only deploy 2 servers. But with this self-hosted option, it will give you the full control provided you bring your own infrastructure. So let's head over to the documentation to start the self-hosting of this Coolify VPS. They will give you the detailed instruction on how to install it. To install this, we need a server, right? So that's why the sponsor of this video is the MivoCloud. They are providing the cloud services since 2015 and they have the many services including the VPS which is €6 per month, and they have the dedicated server which is €39 per month, and they have the self-hosting as well which is €5 per month with unlimited domains and SSL certificate. All of this with DDoS protection and 24/7 customer support. So since they are the sponsor of this video, I have a server with them. So let me go to the MivoCloud and let me select my IP address now. You can say this is my IP address. First, what I will do is I will SSH into this. So let me open up the command prompt and type SSH and the username is root @ and the IP address. So let me connect my server via this SSH now. Now I have successfully connected to this VPS, right? So let me update all the packages now. So apt update, you can see it is updating all the packages. So once it is done, then we can upgrade now. So apt upgrade. Now all the packages has been updated and upgrading. So if you head over to the documentation to install this, we need to have Docker. You can say they provide the server requirements here. So we need a VPS, either it can be private VPS or dedicated VPS, and the supported operating system, either it can be Debian or anything. And they are providing the minimum hardware requirements. You need the 2-core CPU and 2 GB RAM minimum. So make sure you certify all these requirements. So once you have certified all the requirements, then you can good to go. Still it is downloading. Now all the packages has been updated and upgraded successfully. What I will do is I will clear the screen. Let us see the free space of this VPS. If you type the free-h, you can see that I am using the 4 GB RAM. And if you want to see the CPU architecture, just type as a CPU. You can see here I am using the 2-core CPU. Let me clear the screen. Now let's proceed with the Docker installation. Because to install the Coolify, we need the Docker. So just type apt install docker.io, which will install the Docker engine for us. So just press Y. You can see now it is installing the Docker engine for us. So once it is done, then we can proceed further. Now the Docker has been successfully installed. Then what you can do is we can enable the Docker by typing the command system control enable Docker, which will enable the Docker engine. So once the Docker engine has been enabled, we can start now. So system control start Docker. Now if you type docker ---- version, if you get any output similar to this, that means the Docker has been successfully installed. Then let's also install the Docker Compose as well. To do that, just type apt install docker -compose, which will install the Docker Compose for us. So just press Y here to install the Docker Compose. Now that Docker Compose is also installed, then we're good to go. So let's go back to the Coolify documentation page. Here you can see under the self-hosted installation, we have the curl command, right? So let me copy that and paste it here and press enter. You can see that it will install all the dependencies it needs for the Coolify. So this process will take a few minutes depending on your server speed. Now the installation is complete. The scripts provide us with the internal and public IP address. We need to access the Coolify dashboard along with the port number, which defaults to port 8000. Here you can see this is the URL that we got. IP4, just open this in the browser. Here you can see this is the Coolify dashboard and we are greeted with the Coolify account creation. So since this is the first time, this will be the root user with full admin access. So I will enter my name, email address and a strong password. So let me enter the password now. So once you have filled all these requirements, then you can click on create account. So you can see for the password I am giving test@123. So once logged in, Coolify will guide us through a quick onboarding process. First we need to choose the server type. Since we install Coolify on this very machine, I will select this machine or local machine. So I'm gonna select this machine now. So next, we need to create a project to organize our resources. Here you can see it gives us the option to create our very first project. Let me click on that. So just click on deploy your first resources and boom. So this is how you deploy the Coolify on a VPS. Now you can deploy any apps. Here you can say we have the Git-based options. Either you can choose the public repository or private repository, and we have the database as well. PostgreSQL, MySQL, Redis, and we have the MariaDB as well. And below that, you have many services. You have 100 plus services here. So first, what I will do is I will show you how to deploy the Next.js project on this Coolify. I will show you the three options: one from the front end, one from the back end, and one from the services. That is either you can choose the browser based, anything, OpenClaw, and one from the database. So from these services, we have many services. So first, what I will do is I will show you how to deploy a front end application. So actually, if you head over to the dashboard, currently you can see that we have only one project created. So under the project, you need to add the resources. Click on add resources, which will bring us to the same page that we have visited earlier. So if you head over to the profile now, so from this profile, you can change all the details here. You can change your name, you can update your password. And if you go to the terminal, which will give us the Coolify terminal, there you can see select a server. So I'm going to select the Coolify local host or anything. You can select any option to connect, and you can see we got the terminal here. So this is the terminal option. Then what you can do is you can change the server options if you want. So this is all about the terminal. Then let's proceed further now. So you have the keys and tokens, which we will deal with this later. You can see currently only one private key is there, that is local host keys. Then we have the sources. So I will show you what these sources mean in the later part of this video. Basically, this is for GitHub. So let's go to the project now. So let's add the resources, which is our first resource. So to do this, we need our project to be on the GitHub. So let me click on add resources again to go back to the same page that we have visited earlier. Here you can see either you can choose the public repository or private repository. I'm going to choose the private repository. Here you can see it is asking us to create an application. So I'm going to select add application. So let me change the name to Coolify testing and then click on continue now. You don't have to do anything on the organization part. So just click on continue and finally click on install now. That is register. So it is asking us to enter the password. So let me enter the GitHub password. So let me click on create GitHub app for the user. So now we have successfully created an app for the private repository. You can see that we can install repositories on GitHub. So let me click on that to select our repository. Let me select the GitHub account, and you can see that either you can install the app on all repositories or you can only install on selected repositories. So what I will do is I will install only on selected repository. So the repository name will be this one, Next.js. So let me click on install, which will give us access to the repo only. So now we have successfully selected that. You can see that if gave us the name, that is Coolify testing. You can change this if you want. And you can see that they have the HTML URL and we have the API URL. So this is all about the sources. We have added one app, right, that will be displayed in the sources tab. This is what I mean earlier that I will show you later part of today's video. Whenever you add a GitHub app, it will be displayed in the sources. So let's go to our project now. You can see that you have only one source, that is Coolify testing. So let me go back to the project and select my first project and let's add our resources now. Since we added our sources, right, we can select the repository. So this time let me click on private repository with GitHub app, and you can see here we have this one GitHub app here. Let me click on that and boom, it is automatically pick up that repository. Let me click on load repository, and here you can see that it gave us some information which branch that we are on. So let me make sure that we enter the current branch. So the repository that I have used is this one, Next.js to-do app, and currently we are on the main branch. The branch that I need for this tutorial is this patch 1 branch, because that is the latest branch that I have updated. So let me switch the branch now, that is patch 1. There you can see I have updated this last week. So this is the latest branch where I have the build command as well as the start command, and I have the node engine. So let me change the branch to patch 1, and that's it. You don't have to do anything. It will be automatically detected by the Coolify. You just have to click on continue. If you want to change the port number, that also you can leave this for default. So let me click on continue now. And here you can see this is the configuration page of the project. Here if you want to change the name, you can change the name. And below that you have all the information there, network option, code mapping. And if you go to the logs, it will show you all the logs. So first we need to deploy now. On the right hand side, you have the option called it deploy. So we need to click on that once you fill all the information. Here you can see this is the domain. After deploy, we can use this URL to verify our project. So is this site a static site? So you don't click anything. So for now, you can leave the installation command default or build command. So you don't have to fill anything. Then the Coolify will automatically detect it. And if you want to have the environment variables, you can use the environment variable section. Here you can see this is the environment variables section. And yeah, this is all about the configuration page. There are many options as well. So once you configure everything, just click on deploy. Here you can see the deployment has been started. Here it is cloning our branch now. So to check the current progress, we want to click on show deploy logs. So which will be there on the right hand side. So if you go to the right hand side, here you can see we have the option called it to show deploy logs. Just click on that to show all the deploy logs. So which will show us what is happening behind the scenes now. So it is building the Docker image for us. And it is using the command npm run start for the Next.js. So this will take a time depending on your project size. So once it is finished, I will show you how to access the website. You can see that now the deployment is running. So you can head over to the configuration page. And here you can see we have the option for the domains. So you can copy this URL and open up a new tab and paste the URL here. And you can see that we have successfully deployed the Node.js application on Coolify. So let me make sure that all the features are working. If I say now I can able to add the task and I was able to remove that as well. So you can see how easy it is to deploy the Next.js application. We didn't do anything other than installing the Coolify. We just select the GitHub source, right? And then we deployed usually. And for now, it is running on the IP address. And if you want to domain as well, you can go to the settings. Here you can see you can enter up your domain name here and you can give a name. So once you have configured the domain name and you will get the domain name for your VPS. So that's it. So this is how you add the domain name for your Coolify dashboard. So now I have shown you how to add the front end, right? Let me show you the database. So if you head over to the project section, you can say I have added one resource, that is the front end. So let me click on new now. So I'm going to add new resources. Here for the database, you can see that I have many databases here. PostgreSQL, I'm going to select the PostgreSQL. And let me select the default one, that is the PostgreSQL 18, which is the default one. Let me select that one. And we can say this is the configuration page. So here what you can do is, you can change the username if you want. And you can also customize the password. So let me say test.123. So this is the password. You can also change the initial database name. So once you have configured everything, so you can say this is the Postgre URL internal. I will show you how to with the external URL as well once we have deployed. So you can say that we have the proxy port number there. So once deploy, if you want to take a backup, you can go to the import backup section and you can take the backup as well. So once done, you can deploy this Postgre database now. So let me click on start now. I think I didn't save the password, so that's why it is taking the previous password. You can see that the database has been start. It is creating the directories. It is filling the Docker image. So using this Coolify, you can deploy the web application. You can deploy any database and you can deploy hundreds of services out there. That is browser based, browserless, OpenCloud, many services there. Now the database has been started. So to access this, we need to enable the external URL so that we can access it. To make the external URL, we'll have to make this database public. To do that, you can say under the proxy, we have the option called make it publicly available. Click on that. So we need to enter the port number. So let me enter the port number. The public port number that I will give is 5432. So this is the port number. Or I'm going to say 5433. You consider it is updating. We are making this database public. So once it is public, you consider we have the Postgre URL public. This is the URL that we will use. So to test this database, what I will do is I will use the DB viewer. So you consider I have this software here. So let me open this up, which is a universal database manager. You can also use this one. This is a small software only. So using this, you can connect any database. So this is the software. So let me select database. I'm going to select new database connection. So since this is a PostgreSQL, I'm going to select that one. And then we need to enter the details here. So let me go with the host. The host is, so which will be our this IP address here. So let me copy the IP address and paste the IP address here. And let me remove the HTTP, which we don't need it. And the database is Postgres and it is running on the 5433 port number, and the username is Postgres. Let me enter the password as well. So let me enter the password. Now you can expand this. I think we got a password authentication error. So let me check what happened. I think it has taken the default password. I think I forgot to save the new password that I have typed. You can see it is taken the default password. So let me copy this default password now, and let me go to the software and replace the password with the new one and click on OK. And you can see that now the connection has been successfully made. So this is how you connect the post database using the public URL. And you can see from the database we have only one initial database, that is the Postgres, and we don't have any table. If you want to add a new table, you can press right click and create a new table. Since this is about the deployment video, right, I don't want to focus on this much. So let me close this database manager. So now I have shown you how to deploy the front end and back end, right? And if you go to the project section, so let me go to the project, and we have two resources, one application and one database. So let me click on new now. And if you scroll on the services, so you can see there are many services there. So since the length of this video has become 20 minutes, right, you can see we have the open class. You can try this on your own. I will show you how to do this. Here you can see you can select this open class, and similarly how you deploy the database, right, you can also use the similar approach here. Since the video has become huge, I will pause the video here. So I will recommend you to check out the MivoCloud for this VPS. On this VPS you can deploy this Coolify. So yeah, again I will provide the MivoCloud coupon in the description. You can use that to get some discounts. So this is for this video, and I will continue in the next one.